Hi, you're welcome to another edition of Camera Lounge. It's coming to you courtesy of CAMERAjOINT, Nigeria's #1 camera store. I'm T.A'LA, and we have a little twist to this edition. You know that we've always had photographers on this series of the program, but today it's a little twist. We're bringing someone else in the creative value chain. They work with photographers, and I know you must be guessing the kind of professional we're bringing today on the show because of what you can see behind me. But I'll let you meet our guest in just a moment. Don't go away. And yes, we're here somewhere in Ikeja, Lagos. We're in a studio. We're in a makeup studio, apparently. And we're here to speak with a very experienced makeup artist. Her work is vast. She's worked with several people in several industries and across several sectors. Welcome with me, A'LA of T.A'LA. You're welcome. Nice to be here. You got a beautiful studio here.
Thank you.
And I like the director's seat I'm sitting on.
Yes.
It's really beautiful.
Very comfy for our clients.
Oh yeah. So before we delve into our conversation, what is the correlation between photography and makeup? Somebody will be asking me, yes, it's a series for photographers, but now we're here talking to a makeup artist.
Well, photographers cannot do without makeup artists in the sense that we need to make sure that their models or their subjects are well made up. You know, because you take the picture, if the person is looking not good, it's not going to, come out as nice as you want it. And depending on the direction the photographer is going, whether it's fashion or editorial, we are needed in their industry. And likewise, us to them. We take pictures when we want to build our portfolios. We need to reach out to photographers to get professional pictures of our work so that we showcase ourselves well. So both of them really can't do without each other.
All right, so I mean, she's established that for us now, so we can go into the conversation.
Yeah.
So let's meet you.
So, A'LA, I'm married to a photographer.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, so that's one connection, right? And I'm a mother of two. Founder, T.A'LA Beauty, third child out of 5. I'm from Imo State, Ehime to be precise, but married into Isialangwa in Abia State. I moved to Lagos 2015 after my master's degree in the UK. Studied, my first degree was in insurance and actuarial science, and then I went on to do a second degree in economics. So I'm well-grounded. Educationally, I'm not just doing makeup because I want to do it out of convenience. It's very intentional that I'm in this business.
So, I mean, this must be some kind of conflict. Maybe not for you, but I mean, for people around you. You didn't just have a basic education. You also went ahead to do your master's, and I mean, at a global level. I mean, you had it in the UK. So when did this become a goal to you?
So makeup has always been something I wanted to do from little. I knew what I wanted earlier in life, right? But as a Nigerian child, there's that factor where your parents know what they want for you. So in order to strike a balance, I was like, I'm not going to rebel against my parents. I'm going to get the education that they want me to get. And then I'm going to present them with the best result and then go on to do what I wanted to do. So I went on to school. First degree, insurance wasn't something I wanted to study. I wanted to study economics. And back then, even till now, you put in a course, if the course fills up, they just throw the rest of the people to courses that relate to it, maybe in the same department, which is how I now got into insurance and actuarial science, which wasn't, if you look at it, wasn't too far off, because actuarial science is actually the study of statistics, and that in itself is a massive course. Then I finished and I continued doing makeup. Makeup was always on the side for me, even from university days. And then my mom now said, oh, we need you to further your education, which I didn't have a problem with. But I had suggested to go to do cosmetology or something related to makeup. But my mom kept saying, oh, makeup is a hobby, it will be a hobby, you need to do economics, blah. I said, okay, you know what, I always wanted to study economics, so why not? Then I applied to Swansea University in Wales, and I got in to study economics. And I mean, looking back now, the only thing I'll do different is study a different course, in the sense that I'd rather do like a business degree. So instead of masters, do what they call it?
An MBA.
An MBA, yeah. Do an MBA, because then now I'm in the business. But it's still not too far off, because economics is also maximizing your profits and minimizing your losses, which I'm applying in my business today. So looking at it, it was a win-win.
At one point, did you decide, oh, this is no longer going to be by the side. I need to open a studio. I need to begin to find collaborations in the industry. How did you train? Maybe we should begin with that.
So I trained in 2011 with House of T.A'LA. That was my first official training, because right up until that point, and back then, people always say, where did you train? Who certified you? All of that. So I was like, you know what? Let's even now get it official. It was a life-changing experience for me, because it put a lot of things into perspective, and I was able to connect with a lot of people. Now, after my class, I was one of the top people. So I was then sent to Arise Fashion Show. Because then, when you finish House of T.A'LA, they send you for an internship 2 weeks in any of their studios. But because of, well, how well I did, they sent me for Arise Fashion Show. And that was the first Arise Fashion Show in Nigeria. So imagine the exposure it was for me. I was scared at some point, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to take this heads on. And I met a lot of people, different models. There were a lot of international people. So it was such a good experience for me. But then after that, did NYSC. I went for my master's in 2013. So I was still juggling both, right? But I knew that when I moved back to Nigeria after master's, I was taking it seriously. So all the things I was doing, so working, saving, all of that was tailored towards I'm going to start my business. So I worked 2 jobs while I was in school, and I was saving up money so that I'll buy luxury brands, makeup, like really nice products, so that I can start my business. Finished masters with a good result. So it wasn't a thing of, you came back with a bad result. So I then said to my mom, I mean, I allowed my parents to
have their way.
Yeah, have their way. For the first 3 months, I was back to Lagos. I came back 2015, I now moved back to Lagos. And I was specific about moving back to Lagos. I didn't even go back to my parents' house to see them. I was like, I'm coming to Lagos, I'm coming to get my ground. You know, my parents would say, go for this job interview, I tried to go for some, I tried to sabotage some.
I hope mom is not watching this.
They know, I actually have told them, they know. But eventually, I was now intentional in 2015. Luckily, my now husband was then my boyfriend. He was a photographer, so I was able to get him to shoot a lot of my portfolio, pictures. My sister too was a photographer, so I was now being intentional about doing my work and putting it out there. One of the times I then moved back to see my parents, and I had to talk with my dad, especially because my mom was beginning to, understand. And I sat him down and I said, I'm not looking for a job. I'm not going to do it.
Was that heartbreaking for them?
Well, I think, was it heartbreaking? My dad has been heartbroken since I said I didn't want to do engineering. So,
oh, wow.
But then by the time I laid down all my plans and said, oh, this is how much I earn from one makeup job. So imagine if I'm doing 2 of it or 3 of it in a month, it's going to cover a lot. Don't worry about sending me money. I'm not going to ask you for money, but this is what I want to do. This is my passion. And it's no longer a hobby. People thought it was a hobby. It's no longer a hobby. I'm taking it seriously. And then he said, okay, and since then they stopped bugging me about looking for jobs.
All right, great. So let's backtrack to House of T.A'LA and then the exposure. That's one exposure on its own. Then
The fashion show.
the fashion show that they sent you to. Talk to me about what that exposure did to you, not just critically as a makeup artist, but even as a businesswoman in the beauty industry.
So what Arise Fashion Show did for me was see this other part of the beauty industry that we don't usually see. In Nigeria, most people go for bridal makeup, but there's also fashion, right? And then they brought these makeup artists from outside the country who now trained us on some things that I wasn't able to get from House of Tara. So that was mind changing. I was just like, this industry is actually massive. And then even being exposed to different skin tones and other tones, because there were loads of models. Like I'm talking as black as it gets and as white as it gets. So that was a time for me to, now put into practice what I'd learned and, try to play with some models, their faces, while being corrected and mentored by the top makeup artists. So it was a life-changing moment for me, and I'm forever grateful to House of Tara for that, because if I didn't go there, I wouldn't have had that opportunity.
Let's go deeper into the business now. That exposure, what did it do to you in terms of, where would I start? Did it overwhelm you or did it encourage you? What did you do after that? Did you I must find courses, for instance, to understand color tones?
Yeah, of course. So it didn't overwhelm me. There was a time then there was a black model coming to me. I was like, I don't have your foundation. I don't know how to find it. And I just ran. I took off. But then I was like, so now I need to go and learn how to work with different tones, skin tones, undertones, understand this mastery. Because I was so amazed by these makeup artists and how, they were quick to getting shades, quick to color, just quick to everything. So yeah, it encouraged me, inspired me a lot. And it was a major motivation into learning more about makeup, yeah.
You have a wide variety and class of clientele. I mean, you worked with celebrities, you worked with the movie industry. I'm going to talk about those other kind of partnerships, but now, how did you get it? How did you get into that space? I mean, because there are a lot of makeup artists who are struggling and they don't seem to be able to see beyond the next talent. How did you get into that echelon, and how do you stay there?
Well, the first thing is grace, God's grace. So dialing back to 2015, when I moved back, I was doing a different kind of makeup.
Which was?
Makeup that was true to skin and I was the person doing subtle makeup, subtle brows, and that wasn't a thing back then. People are doing the very serious Owambe makeup. So, and I was very intentional about staying in that niche. I didn't want to move because the people that inspired me, people that I was watching over the years people that are doing Grammys and all these, those are the kind of makeup and that's what I was aspiring to be. I wasn't aspiring to be a Nigerian makeup artist, I was aspiring to be a global makeup artist. So then I started reaching out to some celebrities, right? My major client right now is Adeso Aitomi. And back in school, I used to watch a lot of movies, and she was in a couple of them. I was like, who is this fine girl? So I went through her page, and I noticed that the lady had no professional pictures of herself, and there was no particular makeup artist that was doing her makeup. So I sent her a DM. Before I sent her a DM, I had put together photography, styling, hairstyling, makeup. It was a whole thing. So presenting it to her she knew that it was a well thought out plan. So I sent her a DM and said, I introduced myself, said I just moved back, I'm a makeup artist, I loved her movies and I thought she was very talented and I would like to do a photo shoot for her. It would cost her nothing, all she needed to do was show up. So I sent the handles of both the photographer, Hamden, stylist, everything that I had put together So then she read the DM. I wasn't even doing it for popularity, right? I was just trying to get some clients that were going to be return clients and give me referrals, which was my focus.
You needed retainership.
Yes, I needed retainership. I needed money coming in constantly. So she read it. She was happy with it. She said, yeah. She said, of course. She was going to do it. I said, nice. So on the day, I was, like I said, very intentional. I sent a taxi to get her food. Yeah, everything was organized, and that was my money. So it's also saying you spend money to make money. So after the shoot, that was when it picked up. So the blogs, the Banner Niger, everybody picked it up and posted it. So then there was now a little focus on me. Yeah, buzz. Who is this person? T.A'LA Mode Beauty, and yeah. So that was majorly how I started reaching out to celebrities. And then from her, she was friends with Ihomo Ejiofor, and I asked her, can you help me ask a friend? We can do the same thing for her. We did it for her. So now I had these two actresses or actors that I don't make up for. So there was a bit of confidence and trust. So yeah, that's how I got celebrities on my portfolio and my name out there.
All right, did that segue into you then working with the movie industry?
Well, after I'd done Adesiwa's makeup the first time, she became intentional about her own brand, and she wanted to take her makeup artist everywhere she went. So that now included going on movie sets. So I was now doing her makeup on movie sets. I think the first movie I did with her was The Arbitration. Being on that set, even that made me understand that part of the industry. I was like, oh, okay, this is not bad. This is something I can do because I'd now experienced it. I didn't experience it as a full makeup artist, but a makeup artist that was just for her, which gave me enough time to really study it and know it was something I could do. So that's how I now ventured into doing that. After The Arbitration, we did a couple of movies, including King of Boys, The Wedding Party, too. So yeah.
Were you now the major makeup artist for those projects?
No, it was still just for her. But then after that, I now got to be the major makeup artist on a production, which I was sent to Abuja for, and a second one. So that's how I got into the movie industry.
I read somewhere where you said your angle to makeup is to enhance, not change.
Yes.
I don't know whether that still obtains.
Yes. I believe that makeup should enhance. My brand doesn't change. I don't want a transformation. I want to do your makeup and you look at yourself in the mirror and see yourself, right? I don't want to make you look like a doll. That's not what my brand speaks of. I don't want your face to be a different shade from the rest of your body. So I stay true to the client's beauty and enhancing your features. So yeah, that's really what my brand is about, enhancement and not a total change.
Yeah, so that's your angle, which is noble. But I believe that there would be some clients who would say, you know what, slam it. I want a specific look, which is, it's obvious that it's so away from, the core of who they are and what you do. How do you strike a balance between your own beliefs and their demands?
So customer satisfaction is one of my core values as well. And I'm an artist, so I can do anything you want me to do. That I have what my brand represents and what I represent as a makeup artist does not mean I cannot satisfy my clients. So, for example, I have very long lashes in my studio, and I have the lashes that I would gravitate towards.
Lashes like clappables.
All those really long ones. So I have clients, very few clients ask for those, and more clients ask for the ones I give. But I like to have that option for them if that's what they want. But that's not what I'm going to project, right? For example, I go to doing makeup for moms can be a bit tricky So, for example, a mother that's been doing her eyebrows with black pencil for 70 years, 60 years, you're not going to convince that person in one day that doing natural eyebrows is the way to go. I will do what you want me to do. Make sure you're satisfied. I'm just not going to put it on my page.
Now, so let's talk more about satisfying clients and receiving feedback and stuff like that. How do you deal with contentious situations with clients? You know, maybe perhaps there was a brief given and some probably was not well communicated, but there are gaps between expectation and execution. How do you generally, as a business, deal with it?
So sometimes, a lot of times, clients don't know what they want. When they say, I want natural beauty, that what natural beauty means to you is not the same thing that it means to them. So how I like to bridge that gap is, okay, you like natural makeup. Can I see a picture of what you think is natural makeup? Then I know. And this contentious situation, I've been in it before, where a client booked me for, I think it was 50th birthday shoot. So it wasn't the client that was the problem, it was mostly her friends who she came with. So the client had given me a brief to say, oh, I want to look as natural as possible. I don't want too much lashes. I don't want that. So then I do her makeup. And it's as natural, like she literally looks like herself. And her friend comes in and says, oh, you still look like yourself. No, that's not what we want. Then you now see that the client now started gravitating towards her friend. She's like, that's what I was saying. No, it's for a shoot now. No. Yeah. So at that point, I said, okay, what would you like me to change? What specifically do you want to change? Then the woman said, oh, I can't see. It's not shining enough. I'm like, but remember, I kept reminding her, but remember you said you wanted to look as natural as possible. But then what I did was open, like, for example, the eyeshadows. So I picked what you mean by shiny. And then you see the client picking glitters. That would not translate to natural in any way. So I was like, okay, this is what you want specifically. She said yes. And then I applied it on. But I found that throughout the shoots, this friend was very condescending, right? You could see that she didn't appreciate me as a creative. Maybe she was just looking down on me and talking down on me, which I didn't appreciate at the time, but I didn't address because obviously it's a shoot, tensions are high. I was being professional in the sense that I wanted my client to feel as comfortable as possible. So then after the shoot, I was supposed to now do her makeup for the main event. So what I did was I had sent her a whole message saying thank you for booking my services. But moving on, if your friend is going to be with you on the day of the event, I would not be comfortable to do your makeup. I felt like I was in a hostile environment. I was talked down on, and because I'm a professional, I didn't want to
work in that environment.
Yeah, so I said my mental state is very important to me as a creative. So if I feel like I'm going to be in an environment I'm not appreciated, I'd rather not be in it. So I had asked her that I would not want to do the makeup if that friend was going to be there, which she had assured me that the friend was going to be there. So then I offered a full refund and I didn't put myself in that situation. That's how I handled it.
Wow, interesting. I want us to talk about training. If you look at what your portfolio has become, I mean, this is my own assessment. Looking at what your portfolio has become over the years, I can trace it back to the exposures that you had in your early years of practice. Let's talk about the importance of training and proper exposures for makeup artists.
So I feel like majorly Nigerians or Africans think that makeup is just dry eyebrows and applying foundation. Makeup is very vast, and I feel like it's not something that you can learn in 2 weeks or 1 month. It took me a lot of years to get here. I've been, from when I trained in 2011 to now, that's 11 years in the industry. So it's taken me that time to get where I am today. There's a lot involved in makeup, and unless you want to take makeup as a hobby, there's a lot of training you need to undergo. It's not just learning the skill. It's also learning customer service. It's also learning how to relate to your customers. It's also learning the business aspect of it. Otherwise, you run a business that will collapse in 2-3 years. It's okay to say, oh, I've learned this style of makeup and probably it's trending. So you're being booked at the time because that's what's trending. When that happens, when that makeup look is no longer trending, that means you're going to run out of business, or you're going to have to upgrade for the next trending makeup. So if you don't train yourself properly, you won't be able to run a sustainable makeup business. You might be able to run a business for that year or for the next 2 years, but sustainability needs a lot of training. So, and by that I mean training yourself on a global level. So not just on the eyebrow that's trending in Nigeria. What is trending globally? Like I want to do a course personally on movies, so then I can train my people.
Let's talk a bit more about the projects that you've done. You were featured, I mean, your work, 2019, I think March or April edition of Vogue.
Yes.
That's some projects, eh?
That's
now, so tell me about it. What did that exposure add to you, and what did you change in your operations after that experience?
Vogue was major. Vogue was major. Even I couldn't believe it.
And how did it come? Let's start from there.
Vogue was major. Even my family couldn't believe it. It was major. It still came from Adesuwa Itomi.
Oh wow!
So looking back now at
that one client.
Yes, and the things I did before that now projected me to even doing the cover of Vogue. So they had reached out to her. They wanted to feature her as the African actor. For the cover of Vogue. So they had featured a couple of actors on the cover of Vogue, and she was one of them. And she had said, oh yeah, she would accept it, but she wants her own makeup artist.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's
loads
me. Of confidence.
Yes, she is very confident in me, and I'm grateful and thankful for it, because I've also worked hard to be there and to be that confident for her. So when she told me, like I was just like, yeah, I'm happy for you, but that's not working for me.
Oh wow.
And it's not British Vogue, it's not French Vogue, it's Vogue.
The Vogue.
The Vogue.
Come on now.
So I wasn't even taking her seriously, and she kept mentioning it. Have you gotten your visa? And then I started taking her seriously, like, yes, you're doing it. They've accepted and you are going. So I started processing my visa because it was going to be shot in the UK. And thankfully, UK is what I'm familiar with, so it wasn't a problem. Got my visa, like we're really going here. I spoke to my, I was like, it's happening. And then even the day of my flight, like in the plane, I kept saying, like I'm actually going to be surrounded with people that create content for Vogue. And it was such a light bulb moment for me where I said, you know, it doesn't matter where you are. Whatever we're doing is what doing well. If you do what you're doing well, the world will notice you. It doesn't matter where you are. And I kept saying, yeah, this is where I've been seeing myself as a global artist. I've never really seen myself as a Nigerian makeup artist or a Lagos makeup artist. I've always seen myself on the global scale. So we went there, the hotel. It was such luxury to be around. Everything was nice, and I think I was prepared for that moment because I had a level of confidence that wasn't going to throw me. I didn't care what makeup artist I was in front of. I wasn't going to be thrown by it. But obviously, I had started watching a lot of videos, started looking up the makeup artists that have worked on their covers, the kind of work they do, check for their videos, did a lot of practice. Even the night before, I had now said, okay, this is where I sit down, I need to, you know,
practice.
Yeah, practice.
So you're not nervous?
Yeah, so I'm not nervous. So we did that the next morning. We had done like her base before we got in, and when we got in, I was like, "Oh, you look beautiful." I was like, "Yeah, I told you guys, my makeup artist did it." So that was like a boost of confidence, and you know, even which now takes me back to studying in the UK, right? So I'm used to the accent. I'm used to that exposure. It wasn't something I wasn't going to have conversation where I'm saying, what are you saying?
No weapon.
No,
like,
I was ready.
I'm ready for you.
Yes, I was ready. They were asking me, oh, you're from, where are you from? I say, yeah, Lagos, Nigeria. So like Africa, I say, yeah, but Nigeria is part of it. Nigeria is not Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You took the opportunity to also educate them.
Yes, and then Project Nigeria, Project artists. There were a lot of us in Nigeria that are very talented. And you know, they were looking at products I was using. It wasn't, well, they were Nigerian products, and they were like, oh, where do you get your products from? I said, we have a couple of retail stores in Nigeria that, you know, carry international brands. We have Mac stores there. So it's not what you guys think. So even then,
this is you talking to producers or makeup artists
even
themselves?
makeup artists, I had a conversation with the photographers because everybody was curious about who is this makeup artist that she brought.
That they didn't bring us.
I'm telling you,
I had to bring her from
like,
Lagos.
why? Exactly.
Ah,
So
okay. So they sort of put you under scrutiny.
yes.
Yeah.
So and they were surprised at how much I was able to talk, explain, have conversations with them without them doing either. So, like I said, some of these things, you don't, when you look at it and look back at it, like, oh, this prepared me for this moment. I feel like if I wasn't, if my parents hadn't sent me to, I mean, I'd been to the UK a couple of times, even before I did my master's degree. If my mom hadn't been intentional about exposing me, exposing her children, and me going on to study in the UK, I don't think I would have carried the kind of confidence I carried when I went there. Like I said, nothing was going to faze me. Like, I am certified makeup artist and I'm here with you people. That's the confidence I went there with. So, I mean, by the time I left, you could see them, oh, can we have your contact? Can we have your Instagram? And then when they went on my Instagram, they saw that I already had a lot of followers. They're like, oh my God, oh, you seem like...
So you're doing great.
I said, yeah.
You're a star in your country.
Exactly.
Like,
so it was such a wonderful moment. And I had taken it in even before Nigeria was able to take it in. Me and Adeso had taken it all in. Yeah. Because we shot this in December and it was released April. So we had time to digest it. And it felt good. Really good.
Now, this is going to take me back to the value of education.
Yeah.
Now, if you, yes, you sort of mentioned it in your last response, but I want you to talk to makeup artists and creatives generally about the value of having an education. I mean, it doesn't have to be in the UK, but the value of going to school and what impact that will have on whatever it is that you're going to do.
Oh yes, I'm very keen on education. Even as a mother of 2 boys, I don't care if you want to be a footballer, boxer, however you want to do is fine, but you have to be educated because that is the foundation of whatever you want to do in life. So even knowing how to speak to people, knowing how to you obviously when you have a business, you're going to be writing emails. You're going to be sending out proposals.
Yes.
You want to have investors, you're going to be sending out these things. So if you're not educated, how do you know how to write these things? How do you know how to send emails? How do you know how to differentiate between formal letters and informal letters? How do you know how to use the internet, the computers? Invoices. So you will need to get basic education. It doesn't matter, like you said, it doesn't matter where you get it. I mean, my first degree was in Imo State University. So whether I did masters on after that, I had my basic education.
So as we wind down now, this is only going to get busier for you, especially now that you're collaborating across sectors. Let's talk about work-life balance. How do you balance this? You telling me when we came in about your toddlers, you know, how to deal with them. How do you balance everything?
It's having a team. So I have a team here, I have a team at home. So outsourcing, because you can't do everything yourself. There was a time where it was just me and I was okay with it, but like you said, the busier my business got, the bigger it got, the more people I had to get into it. Last year, I have a YouTube channel. I haven't posted in 1 year, but that's because business is busy, motherhood is busy, so I can't find that time to fit in YouTube. So one had to go, and YouTube was the one that had to suffer. But now I'm outsourcing more things. Like even like in the studio, I'm telling them everyone has to carry their bag. Well, if I carry it alone, like there's no balance. Like with pricing now, to make sure I'm not overbooked, I've taken my own prices up so that people can book my team. So if you can't afford me, that's fine. I have a team, and this is how much you can. So, and the team is not one person. So one person is not overwhelmed by the work. That now makes people to, at least I'm getting paid more for me to get busy, and it's worth my time. And at home, well, I'm outsourcing. I have a nanny who is trusted. I even just got a cleaner, so that I'm not talking too much. Everything is just, by God's grace, soon a cook. So, because I know I'm only going to get busy.
And you need to be able to keep your head straight and focus on what matters
my
the most.
creativity and making money and structure.
I was at CAMERAjOINT, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna have a makeup artist." I said, "Oh really?" He said, "Why is this such a big deal?" He said, "These guys buy X and X and X and X things from me." So let's go through the list of things that you would go to CAMERAjOINT for.
A lot.
Let's go.
The lights, from ring lights, the stands, even cameras. There was a time makeup artists were so invested in buying cameras. Now phones are doing it a lot for us, and we're leaving the professional work to the photographers. Even tripod stands, phone holders. There's a lot CAMERAjOINT has in that place. Like the guy does too good with what he does. Yeah, a lot of lights, and we work with lights a lot because we need to see what we're doing. So light is an essential part of our work. Is it soft on the skin? Can I see my client's face? Am I able to carry it around easily? Can I use just one light instead of using 3 lights? So yeah, we buy a lot of things, from even microphones. Like I'm a YouTuber as well, so I have microphones from him, cables, laptops, a lot of things.
So I'm a bit curious about, you say that you also make room for those that work with you. You know, you tell your clients, okay, I'm booked this time, but I have someone in my team, and you create business for them. That's noble, but why do you do that?
So there are different ways I create opportunities for upcoming makeup artists. I have artists under T.A'LA Mode Beauty that I train very well and make sure that they take on jobs. It's important that people are trained. Another way I take on upcoming makeup is that I run internships. Before I used to do 1 month internship. I didn't realize, I don't think it's enough for them. They go out there and it gets too much for them, and they just go back into their shell. So then I started doing 3 months. 3 months, yeah, I can see that a bit of confidence is built, but not totally, right? So now I'm doing 6 months, in the sense that I want to really train you. When I send you out there, I can say, those ones are now those are the ones I say, okay, my team, T.A'LA Mode, were busy, but this person, I can trust to do the work to the standard that you're looking for, because whoever I refer to a client is somehow still representing me, because that client has believed in me. And I feel like the sky is massive. I cannot take all the clients. You know how many, the population in Nigeria is too much. I can't do it all. So if I've been placed to help others, I'll do it, because guess what? People have been placed to help me.
All right, so it means that a lot of conversations need to go on within the industry.
Yeah.
The veterans to the up and coming to the new guys coming, and that speaks to training.
Yeah.
Now, you told me earlier about a training coming up, that
Yeah.
you're organizing a training, which is a beautiful thing.
Yes.
So tell us about this training. What does it entail? Who should come? Who's it for? And how much are they paying?
So first and foremost, I'm at a level where I've decided that I don't want to be taking beginners on, because I find that a lot of beginners are not even sure that they want to be makeup artists. So, I mean, go and train with other people as a beginner. I'm taking master's level. So it's a master class. Possibly going to be April, May. And the fee, I'm not sure about the fee.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be less
Price
than...
of dollars.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely not going to be less than 50,000 naira. Yeah. But I take, because I see there's a lot to teach people that have actually now learned just makeup. And that's what I want to focus on. I want to focus on the business of makeup. I want to focus on your techniques. Now moving up a scale higher. Apart from learning how to draw eyebrows, how do you know undertones? Things that they would not teach you from that level. So that's why, and I find that people that are doing master classes are almost, so it's almost like they've started their businesses, but they need clarity as to what am I doing wrong? How can I book more clients? So that's why I come in, because I've been able to now master this level, how to book more clients, how to structure your business. So that's the level I want to be teaching, because I find that not everyone is teaching that. Not everyone is teaching customer service. I see people talk to their customers anyhow. I see people act like they're celebrities. You forget that you're a service provider, not a celebrity. I don't care if you have 100,000 followers on Instagram. These people are the people making your business move. So I'm there to correct some notions with artists. You're a service provider. You're not a celebrity. So even if you now attain that celebrity status, still the first thing in your mind is that you're a service provider. And I find that a lot of makeup artists don't know that. So that's where I come in. I'm bridging that gap between artistry and
business.
And business, yes.
Awesome. We wish you well in your coming training.
Thank you.
So, T.A'LA of T.a'LA Mode Beauty Studio, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So that's how it's been on the show. Camera Lounge for today. It's brought to you especially by CAMERAjOINT, Nigeria's #1 camera store. I'm T.A'LA. Bye now. Lights, camera, action.